This is a short introductory video on EXSC189 Research and Ethics in Exercise Science. So I'm Matt Sweeney. I'm the lecturer in charge of this unit. You'll be hearing my voice on half of the lecture recordings. I'll also be taking all of the tutorial classes this semester. For the unit, you'll also hear the voice of Michael Baker, one of our lecturers down on the Strathfield campus, for half of the recordings. And for any more contact details for myself, please see the unit outline. So what's the unit about? What are we going to be covering this semester? Well, we're going to be taking a bit of a step back and thinking about the evidence that we use for our decisions in whatever field of exercise science you're interested in going into. And in particular, we're going to look at the scientific approach, how we answer questions scientifically, the process that we might go through, what is good science, maybe what's not, how do we interpret those results, what are the ethics and legal implications of doing that research, and exercise science in general. And then how do we interpret those results and communicate those results as well. So all things that we'll be covering this semester. So other than just having an amazing time in this unit, you are no doubt going to be interested in the assessments because they are your avenue towards academic performance. So how do we structure those? Well, 30% of your overall grade in 189 is based on the weekly quizzes. So there will be a quiz in week 1, and there's these weekly quizzes open and expected 10 of the 12 weeks. There's also a case study assessment or mid-semester exam, and that's going to be in week 7, where you receive an abstract and you're going to be asked a number of questions based on the concepts up to that date on that abstract. Your third assessment is the research project. That's really going to span pretty much the whole semester, where we start exploring the different facets of the research process and analysis, and right up through a research project of our own, where we'll actually propose and collect and write up research. So that's going to be really exciting. It's worth 35%. And we also have a prac exam, which is in week 12 of your tutorial time. It's a hurdle, so you need to pass it to pass the unit, but very, very, very few people will actually fail this. You are very well prepared in the weeks up to it, and it's really our assessment of you actually going through the process of statistics. So nothing to worry about. For more information on these, please read the unit outline. So what are the logistics of how this unit runs? Well, one important difference from other units that you might be sitting is there is no face-to-face lectures in this unit. The weekly content is posted at the start of each week on your Leo page as a series of recorded modules, and that will correspond to the material that will be in your weekly quiz that is posted at the same time and due by the end of the week. So you can complete that quiz any time before the end of the week. You have one attempt at that quiz. Each quiz has a 10-minute timer. There is only a short amount of questions in each one, and please closely read the special consideration requirements if you have missed one of those quizzes. So if there's something that has knocked you out for the whole week through illness or family tragedy, then we do have provisions for that, but not just for forgetting or for things like work reasons. So while there's no face-to-face lectures, there is weekly tutorials as a part of this unit, and you will be expected to attend all of those. There's no tutorial in week 1, so from weeks 2 to week 12 there will be tutorials, and in those tutorials we'll be covering the content from the previous week's lecture modules and quiz. So you'll already have taken a quiz, you know a little bit about it, but it's our chance in that tutorial to cover skills for the prac exam, the mid-semester exam, and your major project. So there's a lot to cover and talk about, discuss, and get feedback from in those tutorials. Remember the attendance policy that is in your unit outline. Please read it carefully. Essentially, we expect you to attend all of the tutorials from week 2 to week 12. So in addition to that face-to-face time we'll get in the weekly tutorials, you may also want some extra consultation, especially about or covering the weekly content in preparation for your quizzes. So I try to leave Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. open as much as I can. So if you want to come in by yourself or with a group and talk about the weekly content, then please try and organise a time ahead to make sure I'm there. I also encourage as much discussion on the forum on Leo as possible, so we can go through back and forth, and you can learn from each other's vantage points and opinions and comments and learning as well. And there's also possibility for extra group time. So if there's a group of you that want to get together at a certain time, I'm more than happy to try and facilitate to come to that and help out as well. So along with the increased flexibility of the way we deliver content in this unit and assess content in this unit comes the risk of not putting in the necessary preparation or study for the assessments. So it's really important to be organised with the way we do this, and I thought I'd throw down an example study plan for you for the week of really how to maximise your performance in these ongoing assessments. So with the online modules being released on Monday, I would recommend starting those as soon as possible. Watch one or two modules. Maybe you'd like to watch all of the modules and then watch them a couple of times later in the week, but at least get stuck into them. Maybe watch one or two, take some notes. Maybe space it out. The next day you might watch the next one or two and take some notes on them. You might then choose on Wednesday to start going over those notes, asking yourself some questions. Maybe you're studying within a group of friends. You have a time per week that you might get together and talk about some of the content. Come and see me if needed, or if you want to discuss any of those things, if you're interested or if you're having any trouble with them. And then maybe something like Thursday, you set yourself up to complete that quiz. So I think if you work through it like that, that's a little example study plan that really maximize your performance in those particular assessments. So in terms of textbooks, there's no one textbook that covers all of the content that we will be dealing with this semester. This textbook here, Conducting Reading and Research in Kinesiology, covers a lot of the research methods content that we'll be covering, so that is a good one to potentially buy or to go and read a few times through the semester in the library. Really underutilized resources, these textbooks. Don't just rely on the lecture information. These things are really important too. So that's been the brief introductory video on EXSC189. Make sure you read your unit outline before the semester and throughout your semester as a guide, and if you have any questions then please let me know.